Hey, I'm Greg Wood, and this is part 8 of Making It in the Music Scene. In this episode, I want to talk about overcoming some of the psychological barriers that musicians run into. One of the big ones, the first one that everybody sort of runs into or asks about right off the bat, is things like stage fright and performance anxiety. They say, well, how do I get started? And I say, well, I start at open mic night or be an opening act or get something together, and you got to start playing live. And they say, oh, but I'm so scared, I'm so nervous, and it's really like just like jumping off the diving board in the pool for the first time. It's just you gotta push yourself and dive right in and do it. And once you do it, then you've sort of broken through that fear, and then it gets a lot easier the next time and the next time, and pretty soon things are going along really smoothly. Uh, Being really prepared and confident before you go up, well rehearsed, is going to help out a lot with that. I'd suggest, if you've never played a show before, really practice your songs over and over and over. Play them 100 times the day before so they're really automatic and the muscle memory is there, and you can just get up on that stage and do it, perform the song without trying really. That's going to really help, especially in uh, the first stages of getting over your stage fright. Um, Another thing that a lot of musicians run into, especially once they start getting into songwriting and recording and production, not necessarily only for musicians, but also for some of the engineers and producers out there, they run into a lot of perfectionism. Uh, they don't want to release a song, or a song's not ready. They don't want to record it. They don't want to play it in front of someone because they don't think it's good enough. And everybody kind of goes through this at the beginning stages of their career of not thinking that something's ready to be under the public eye. They're scared of rejection or whatever it happens to be. They say the song's not ready. I'm too scared to play it out, or I'm too scared to record it, and it's just not ready. And that can be really cause a lot of paralysis for your career if you never do anything. If you let that fear or that perfectionism hold you back, you really have to just go for it. Tell yourself I'm gonna pick my best 5 songs and I'm gonna record a demo and just let people listen to my recording of my voice. And it sounds funny to me and I don't like it, but I really love playing music and I want to, start taking that next step. And that's something that you have to get over. So, get over that perfectionism and just really, let it out there in the world. Perfectionism can really follow you along through your whole career. Even, believe it was John Lennon of the Beatles said that, no song is ever finished, can never be finished, it can only be abandoned. And that's really true. There's always going to be, you can always make a song a little better. You could always go add another backing vocal track or rewrite a bridge, or make the intro shorter or longer or tweak it. And this can go on forever and ever and ever. Especially people that get into mixing and mastering, this can be a rabbit hole that they can never escape from. And I think you have to, really set yourself some time limits on some of these things. Whether it's I'm going to give myself 2 months to write and record my first demo, uh, or I'm going to give myself 2 weeks to mix and master this album. Whatever it happens to be, just set yourself a time limit and just say whatever the product is at the end is getting released out to the world, and then I'm going to go have some new life experiences and I'm going to write some new material and start a new project after I release this one. And that's really the way that you have to look at it. Another thing that happens is you get over your stage fright, you get over your performance anxiety, you get over perfectionism, you're writing and recording music, you're performing, maybe you're starting to do some tours, and everything's just when you think everything's going smoothly in your head, you start getting haters or people criticizing and rejecting you and just annihilating your ego, and you need to have, at this point, to learn how to accept criticism and rejection and deal with the fact that there are a percentage of people that are just not gonna like your music, and that's something that as an artist you just have to accept. I heard a good explanation of a percentage of breaking people down in the room of what happens when you go to a show. So let's say you're going to step on the stage to perform your music, and there's 100 people in the room. Well, 80% of those people, or 80 people in the room, they're there, they see you getting up on the stage, and they want to like you. They really truly are there to listen to some music and have a good time, and they want you to be good, and they want to like you. And even if you're not the best show they've ever seen in their lives, they're going to like you anyway, just because they want to like you. They're there to listen to live music, and they see you about to play the first chord, and they're just gleaming with anticipation, and they're happy, and they have their beer in their hand, and they just want to like your act. About 15% or 15 people in the room are going to be other musicians, fellow musicians. Musicians are a very tricky breed, and they will never truly like a band, and they will never truly not like a band. Even if they think the performance is great, the best show they've seen in their lives, there's still going to be, in a seasoned musician's mind, there's going to be things that they're going to want to critique about your show. Not necessarily in a harsh way or damaging way to you, but they'll be like, oh, that sounded great, but they should use a different kind of amplifier because it would complement that style of music better. So that 15% of musicians, as a musician, you just have to accept them. Those 15% of the people in the room are going to be fellow musicians, and they're going to have things to say and suggestions, and that's just part of the game. The last 5 people in the room, the last 5%, there's just a certain percentage of people in the world that are just there to hate you. And it's yin and yang. You need to take the good with the bad. There's going to be 5 people in the room. They're going to be in the back, arms crossed, looking at you setting up on the stage, and they are just going to be, just waiting to hate, and they don't care what you sound like. They like, I don't like the look of this guy. I don't like his equipment. The sound guy doesn't know what he's doing. This venue sucks, and they're just miserable people. And there's a certain percentage of people in the world that are just like that. And don't take it to heart that somebody peed in their cornflakes that morning. You just got to deal with it. And just be thankful that they only represent 5%, and the rest are people that are just waiting to love you and fellow musicians. There's also another type of person that you're going to run into along the way, and these are jealous people. As soon as you start to show any kind of confidence, or you're doing something right, doing something good, and you're excelling and succeeding at something, there's going to be people that aren't experiencing the same type of success, and they're going to be really jealous of you. Lots of them will just keep their content to themselves, but there are some jealous people that will take pot shots at you. They'll try and spread rumors about you, or they will, spread hate about your band. Perfect example is look at the anti-Nickelback movement. There's a whole bunch of people out there that are jealous of their success, and they bash the music. They say, well, this is garbage, it's not real music. And the fact is, it doesn't matter whether you like the music or not. They're just jealous of the success of that band. And you'll meet people along the way. If you're any kind of musician playing out and about, you'll run into jealous people. Especially with social media nowadays, it's so easy for people to take pot shots from behind a computer screen. And the best way that I'll suggest to deal with these people is to just ignore them completely. If you're just a starting out musician and you have, you're wearing the producer's hat, the songwriter's hat, you're trying to market via social media, you've got a lot of things on your plate. Best not to waste your time with jealous people. I have fallen into the trap myself of being sort of tempted to troll some of these people, where they will take a pot shot on me on social media, and I will kind of inadvertently troll them through the internet and sort of get back at them for taking pot shots at me. I'll take pot shots back, all in just good fun. And that's just me personally. I wouldn't recommend it. I have had repercussions from that, and a perfect example is somebody that I trolled that got a lot of butt hurt from my troll. Went to my app. If you go search on iTunes the Greg Wood app, you'll read one of the reviews on my app. That was somebody that I had trolled that wrote a negative review back to me, and now I can't remove that review on my app. It's kind of there forever. But I mean, anybody reading it will know it's somebody that was had a bit of butt hurt, and it's actually pretty funny to read. So go check that out if you have some time. Something else I'd like to talk about in this video is something about setting goals. You always hear the goal being for musicians that they want to sell 1 million records. It's like, when I sell 1 million records, I'll be happy. Now let's take a step back and really look at that goal for what it is. There's 7 billion people on Earth. So you're not saying I want to sell 7 billion albums to everybody. You're saying I want to sell 1 million. If I can sell 1 million albums, then I'll be happy. Well, 1 million albums out of 7 billion people represents actually less than 1/1000th of a percent of the total population. So, for example, if you said my ultimate goal in life is to sell 1 million records, and you're at a music festival with 1,000 people watching, then to sell one CD to one of those 1,000 people at that music festival, you've hit your target goal of selling 1 million albums to the world. So that's kind of a funny way to look at it, but it just goes to show you that selling one CD to one fan per show is not a bad goal to go for. Some people might feel discouraged. We played this big festival, we sold one CD to one person. But if that person really, really loves your music and is really happy to buy your CD and spread the word about your band, then mission accomplished. And if you could do that every day, you'd be well on your way to selling your 1 million records. So yeah, just in closing, a couple more things just to recap. Really focus on building up your confidence. Practice, practice, practice. Play as many shows as you can. Be prepared for those shows. Lots of rehearsal time. Get yourself out there. Have that goal of selling one CD per show, regardless of how many people are there. Write your goals down. Make them realistic and actually physically write them out. Like, this year, I want to play 20 paid gigs. And then set yourself on that goal, just as an example. And finally, never give up. The music business is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You can go, there's guys that have gone solo, gone with bands, been backup players, worked as studio session players, worn all different types of hats throughout the music business, recorded dozens and dozens of songs. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of heart to make it in the music industry, but there are a lot of people doing it. So don't give up. If it's your passion, if it's your dream, keep at it. Thanks for watching my series, Making It in the Music Scene. If you have any more questions, please feel free to hit me up on my website or leave a comment on my videos, and I'll gladly answer any questions that you have. That's it for now. Check out my website, gotgregwood.com.